Welcome to our mathematics lecture series. Today we're going to talk about fractions, decimals, and percentages. Let's start with fractions. Fractions, when we look at fractions, when we talk about fractions are things that um, we've been learning since grade 3, forever and ever. When you are talking about numbers, a whole number, 1, you know, 1 is a whole number. And you've got, for you to go to 1, where 1 is, you move from 0 to 1, and there are various spaces, various 10 equal paces for you to get to where the whole number 1 is. So those 10 paces, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10, are called fractions. So another example, another way we can explain fractions. We have a circle here. This circle is a whole circle. It means it's one, it's whole, you know. So if you choose to divide a circle into two parts, you have this part and this part. And let's say you shared this part. Now, when you have, how many two parts are here? 1 and 2. So like, how do you express this as a fraction? You say 1 part, 1 out of 2 parts is shaded, you know. That's basically what a fraction is. One fraction of the two, like 2 divided region in 1. 1 out of 2 is shaded, you know. So that's basically what a fraction is. Now let's imagine we divide. Okay, let's imagine we divide this circle into 4 equal parts, and we shade only one part. So when expressing it as a fraction, we say that 1 out of 4 is shaded. Similarly, we can divide it into 8 equal parts. So if you have 8 equal parts, how many are shaded? You have 2 over 8. Now, that's how you write numbers as fractions. Now, let's talk about terminologies that are involved when we are learning about fractions. Terminologies that we are going to come across when we are talking about fractions. If you don't understand fractions, you will literally never do anything. In the coming lectures that we are going to be talking about, you literally won't understand anything if you don't understand this part called fractions, decimals, and percentages, because we are going to be using fractions and decimals quite frequently in our mathematics lectures, in our mathematics lessons. Now, a fraction is written as, example, let's talk about 1 over 2. Okay, this number on top is known as a numerator. A numerator. Okay, don't mind my handwriting, please. Okay, you have a numerator here. This bar here, this bar, you read it as over, you read it as over. Then this number, the number at the bottom, is known as a denominator. Denominator, friends. Forgive my handwriting. Denominator. Denominator. Then and there are various forms how fractions can be written. If you have a fraction like 1/6, if you have a fraction, again, let's say 7/3. If you have a fraction where the number on top is less than the number at the bottom, such kind of a fraction is called a proper fraction. Okay, if you have a fraction where the number on top is greater than the number at the bottom, such a fraction is known as an improper fraction. Forgive my handwriting. Okay, I don't have like a proper animation board to write on. Okay, it's known as an improper fraction. Then you will also come across fractions that are written like things like 3/1/5, where you have a big number here and a fraction the other side. Such kind of fractions are known as mixed fractions. Mixed. Okay. Mixed fractions. Yeah. So these are some of the terminologies that you are going to come across when we are talking about fractions. Now, let's go straight to addition and subtraction of fractions. Let's practice some problems. Let's practice some questions. Evaluate the following fractions: 1/2 plus 1/6. 1/2 plus 1/6. Here, 1/2 plus okay. Evaluate the following fractions: 2/5 plus 1/6. How do you calculate this fraction? First things first, when you are adding fractions, you look for what is known as a common denominator. A common denominator. What does it mean? Which ones are denominators? Denominators are numbers that are at the bottom of a fraction. Here, the denominator is 5, and here, the denominator is 6. When you talk about a common denominator, they are saying you'll find a lowest number, a smallest number, where both 5 and 6 can, okay, you will look for a number where both 5 and 6 can go in without leaving a remainder. You look for numbers which are you look for a lowest number which is divisible by both 5 and 6 without leaving a remainder. What is that number? You are talking about 30. It's 30. So 5 into 30, how many times does 5 go into 30? We find that 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 multiplied by 2. You are talking about 12. Okay. Then here, you bring that addition sign and you come to the other fraction. How many times does 6 go into 30 without leaving a remainder? You find that 6 goes into 30 exactly 5 times. And that quotient you find, the 5 times, so 5 multiplied by the numerator on top multiplied by 1, you have 5 itself. Okay. So here you have the common denominator 30 and 12 plus 5, you have 17. Okay. So this is our answer. Okay. Next question. Next question. 2 over 7 minus 1 over 3. 2 over 7 minus 1 over 3. Minus 1 over 3. So what do we do here? Same procedure. You look for a common denominator, a number where both 7 and 3 can go into without leaving a remainder. That is 21. How many times does 7 go into 21? 3 times. 3 multiplied by 2 on top, that's the numerator. You have 6. 3 into 21, 7. How many times does 7 go in? How many times does 3 go into 21? 7 times. 7 multiplied by 1 on top, it's 7. So here you have 6 minus 7 is equal to minus 1 over 21. Okay. So our answer is negative 1 over 21. Next, 1 over 4 plus 2, 1 over 3 minus 1, 1 over 5. 1 over 4 plus 2, 1 over 3 minus 1, 1 over 5. How do we solve this one? Please try to pause the video and see if you can do it on your own. Okay, assuming you've solved the question. Now let's go through it. So here we rewrite this into proper and improper fractions, okay? Because it has mixed fractions and everything. So 1 over 4 plus, how do you write this into a proper and improper fraction? You do 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1. That's 7 over 3 minus 1 multiplied by 5 plus 1. This is 6 over 5. Okay. Now, let's look for a number where both 5, where let's look for a lowest common denominator. Lowest common denominator where you have 4, 3, and 5. All of them can go in without leaving a remainder. What number is that? Here we find that the lowest common denominator is 60. 60. Okay. How many times does 4 go into 60? 15. 15 multiplied by 1 on top is 15 itself, isn't it? Yes. How many times does 3 go into 60? It goes in 20 times. 20 multiplied by 7 on top, you have 1, 4, 0. Minus. How many times does 5 go into 60? 12. 12 multiplied by 6, you have 72 is equal to lowest common denominator 60. Okay. 15 plus 15 plus 60, 15 plus 140, you have 155. 155 minus 72, 83. Okay, you have 83 over 60. This is not complete, however. You have to write it into a mixed fraction. 60 into 83. How many times does 6 go into 83? You have 1, remainder 23 over 60 itself. 1 over 1, 23 over 60. This is our answer. Next question. You have 2, 3 over 5, minus 8 over 3, 1, 4 over 5. 2, 3 over 5 minus 8 over 3 plus 1, 4 over 5. Okay, as usual, we write this into improper fraction. 2 by 5 plus 3, 13 over 5 minus 8 over 3 plus 1 by 5 plus 4, 9 over 5. Okay, common denominator 15. Our common denominator is 15. How many times does 5 go into 15? 3 times. 3 by 13, you have 39. Okay, minus 3 into 15, 5. 5 by 8, 40. You have 40 plus 5 into 15, 3. 3 by 9, 27. Okay, is equal to 15 again. 39 minus 40 minus 1. Minus 1 plus 27, you have 26. So is equal to, write it into an improper fraction. This is equal to 111 over 15. Okay, this is our answer. Let's go to another section. We're going to be talking about multiplication and division of fractions. Simplify and evaluate the following fractions. 2 1 over 6 by 2 over 5. Okay. 2 1 over 6 by 2 over 5. Okay. How do you do this one? As usual, convert this into an improper fraction. So you have 13 over 6 multiplied by 2 over 5. So what happens here? Okay, addition and subtraction is a little bit different from multiplication and division. This is different from addition and subtraction. Here, there's no need for you to look for common denominators and etc. You just multiply direct, top number, numerator by numerator over denominator by denominator. So what happens here? You just multiply direct. 13 by 2, you have 26. Okay, and 6 by 5, you have 30. Okay, however, this is not complete. Put it in lowest common terms. Convert it to its lowest terms. Okay, how do you put it in its lowest terms? You divide by 2 everywhere. So you have 13 here over 15 as in its lowest terms simply as possible. So 13 over 15 is our newly converted number in factors. Okay. Next, let's let's go to 2 over 5 divide by 1 3 over 8. Okay, 2 over 5 divide by 1 3 over 8. Okay, so how do you do this one? This is just as good as writing 2 over 5 divide by, okay, these are dots for division sign. So 1 by 8 plus 3, you have 11. Okay, 11 over 8. So how do you divide? Okay, how do you operate division in fractions? So here you have 2 over 5. Okay, when you reach here, division, it's similar to multiplication, but the only difference is such that here the fraction at the right hand side of the operation sign swap, the denominator goes on top and the numerator comes at the bottom. You swap them. Okay, so and not only that, you change this sign to multiplication. Okay, so you change the sign and swap the fraction. So instead of writing 11 over 8, you write 8 over 11. Okay, then you multiply. 2 multiplied by 8, you have 16. And 5 multiplied by 11, you have 55. So So 16 over 55 is our answer. Next question. Okay. These ones, I just want us to look at these questions, these ones, and you should do them. I'll just ask you to do them as your personal homework on your own. Next time when we come back for revising, we are going to go through these questions and evaluate them. Yeah. Next, let's go to the next section. So let's go to decimals now. Okay, let's talk about decimals briefly. Decimals are more or less like fractions, where you are talking about segments between 0 and 1. Okay, there are 10 equal segments between 0 and 1. Okay, 3, 4, or even 100 or even 1,000, no matter how you may want to put them, up to 10, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so when you are between 0 and 1, when you are at this thing, at this part, on this part, at 1, 2, 3, 4, before you reach 1, so you say things like 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4. Okay, decimals involve writing a decimal. Involves you writing a point or a comma to indicate that what you are dealing with is another type of a fraction. Like, okay, for example, if this fraction means 1 over 2, in decimals, 1 over 2 is equivalent to saying 2 into 1, you have a 0, okay, and you put a point here, a decimal point, and here you put a 0, okay, to mean that now 2 into 10, you put a 5, okay. This describes 1 over 2 in decimals. This is equivalent to 1 over 2 in decimals, 0.5. How about 1 over 4? 1 over 4 in decimals will be 0 into 1, 4 into 1, 0, okay, and here you have 0. 4 into 10, you have 2, remainder what? Remainder 2. So 4 into 20, you have 5. So 1 over 4 is equivalent to 0.5. How about, what if you want to take 0.5 back into 0.25 into a fraction? How do you write it? Okay, here, just like when you are dealing with whole numbers, you've got, say, 1,000 here. Okay, here you've got ones, here you've got tens, here you've got hundreds, and here you've got thousands. So when you're dealing with decimals, here you've got like more or less like tens, here you've got hundreds again, here you've got thousands, and so on and so forth. It in decimals, it starts from tens, while in whole numbers it starts from ones, okay, until you go right. So when you see, if there are two decimal digits on the right hand side of a point, two decimal digits, you are describing 100. So 25 in decimal digit, as a decimal digit, 0.25, you are going to write it. It's just as good as saying 25 over 100 as a fraction. Okay, So not only that, you will express it as a fraction in its lowest terms, which is going to be 1 over 4. That's a decimal. 1 over 3 as a fraction, put it into a decimal, it's going to be 0 point 3 is going to be 3 3 3, and it will continue going 0.33333333333. And when you have got such kind of a thing where the decimal point keeps on recurring without necessarily stopping, reaching a stopping point, you call that as a recurring decimal, recurring digit, okay, something like that. And you have those kind of a thing. So I have taught you how to convert from decimals to fractions, from fractions to decimals. Decimals simply involve writing a decimal point. For example, you may be dealing with money. You may be dealing with money. Okay, let me use our monies that we use here in Turkey. So you want to buy, say, a shawarma. Shawarma in Turkey, an average is 16.50 TL, okay, TL. So 16.50 TL. Here on the left hand side of a decimal, these are whole numbers that you have on the hand side of a decimal. On the right hand side of the decimal, the numbers that you have are called decimal numbers. Here on 16, this 6 is called a ones on whole numbers. These are tens. When you go left and left, you've got hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and so on and so forth. Here, on the decimal numbers, you've got tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and it goes on and on and on and on. You start from tens, okay? And this is the decimal point. So here, when you talk about whole numbers, proper whole numbers, and here you talk about decimal numbers, which are more or less like remainders, where a number cannot be like, it's not a complete number, but it's just a number with its fractions and remainings and leftovers of some sort. Yeah, so that's brief about decimals. The difference between decimals and fractions is just that in fractions you are dealing with bars, 1 over something, okay, 3 over 10 of some sort. And in decimals you are just expressing these bars of overs into a decimal point of some sort. Yes, it's as simple as drinking water, you know. Okay, now let's practice some questions. Okay, we start with addition and subtraction. So you have 3.465 plus 2.120. Okay, 3.465 plus, okay, 2.120. Now, how do you add these in decimals? So you write them properly where you can, so that we can easily add 5 plus 2.120. Okay, how do you add? You add just as normal as you add ordinary numbers, so except that you have to be a little bit more careful when you reach at the decimal point. Okay, so 5 plus 0, you've got 5. 2 plus, okay, 6 plus 2, you've got 8. 4 plus 1, you've got 5. Then you have a decimal point here. 3 plus 2, you've got 5 again. So this is our answer. Next question, we've got 2.14 minus 0.251. Okay, 2.14 minus 0.251. Okay, now you have to be careful when you are arranging these numbers in order. They have to be in such a way that the decimal points have to be in a straight line. If the number on top of the other, they say the number which is subtracting here, the number you are subtracting from, and the subtrahend, it doesn't matter if the number you're subtracting from has 2 decimal digits, you put them in, they have to be in straight line with a decimal. And if there's nothing here, you can add a 0 so that you can easily do your evaluations. So if you here you have got a 0, when you are subtracting 0 minus 1, you okay, so here how do you start? You borrow 1 from 4, and here you've got a 3, right? So 10 minus 1, you've got 9. Okay, 3 minus 5, borrow 1 from 1, and you've got a 13. 13 minus 5, 8. Okay, here you've got a 0, borrow 1 from 2, you've got an 8 again, remainder 1. So 1.889, you've done your subtraction. Okay, here these ones are your homework. Chocolate, very, very simple. We are going to handle them when we come back. Let's go to multiplication and division of decimals. Okay, so let's do one example and two example here. One example for multiplication and another for division. 3.14 multiplied by 0.5. 3.14 by 0. Okay, 0.5. Okay, forgive my. So how do you do this here? Okay, this has 2 decimal places and this has 1. So you have to put a 0 here so that they can be in uniform. So 0 multiplied by everything on top, you've got 0, 0, 0.0. Okay, and 5 multiplied by 4, you've got 20. 0 carried 2. 5 multiplied by 1. Okay, the decimal point is here. So 5 multiplied by 1, you've got 5 plus 2, you've got 7. Okay, 5 multiplied by 3, you've got a 15 here. So here, okay, no putting decimal places, huh? When you are evaluating. So 0 multiplied by everything here, you've got 0, 0, 0. Now let's add at the end of the day. We add. So 0 plus everything at the bottom, 0. 0 plus everything at the bottom, again, another 0. Again, here you've got 7. Okay, here you've got 5. Here you've got 1. Now, the question is, how do you know that where, how do you know the place where to put your decimal point? Okay, how do we know that this is where we're supposed to put our decimal point and this is not? So so here, how do you know that the position exactly where we're supposed to put the decimal place? So we count the number of decimal digits here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 of them. So you move 4 steps from here to the from the right to left hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our decimal point is supposed to be here. 1.2 1.5700. That is our answer. Okay. Next, 4.12 divided by 1.2. Okay. 4.12 divided by, okay, okay, 4.12 divided by 1.2. 1.2. Okay, how do you handle this? Okay, how many decimal digits do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we're going to evaluate this as if we have got whole numbers already. So we just say 412 divided by 12. Okay, okay. So we already know that we've got 4 decimal digits, meaning that meaning that our answer is going to have 4 decimal places. So 12 into 41, 12 into 4, it doesn't go. 12 into 41, it goes in 3 times. You write 3 on top of a 1. So 3 by 12, you've got 36, okay, over 41 minus 36, you've got 5. Bring down 2, okay. 12 into 52, you've got how many? What number do we have? 12 into 52, you've got 4. So 4 multiplied by 12, you've got 48. Okay, 52 minus 48, you've got a 4. So our answer has a remainder 4. Okay, now that we know that our answer will have 4 decimal places, we are going to write it as 34 0.4, okay? And the 4 decimal places are going to be 0, 0, 0 automatically. But if you want, if you so wish, you may exclude the zeros, no problem. Yeah, let's go to next section. Next section, we're going to talk about percentages. Percentages is a range of numbering system that runs from 0 to 100. Okay, it's a range of a numbering system that runs from 0 to 100. A percentages are divided into 100 equal parts. Okay, so the 100 equal parts we are talking about are known as percentages. So if you stop at 30, when you stand at 30 of this scale, you will say that you've got a 30%. Okay, a symbol for percentage is this, is this. Okay, so you say you've got 30%. Okay, when you stand at 30, when you stand at 60, 70, it's the same thing. But percentages ends up to 100. There's nothing like 200%. Okay, now you can also make conversions. You can also make conversions of percentages from fractions to decimals to percentages, and from decimals to percentages, and percentages to fractions, and vice versa. Let me show you how it's done. Convert 1 over 2, the basic, to percentages. When you want to convert 1 over 2 to percentages, you simply multiply 1 over 2 by 100, okay? Because 100 is the maximum number of percentages. 1 over 2 by 100, you have a 50. So it will be 50%. How about if you want to put it back into fractions? If you want to put 50% back into fractions, how is it done? You just say 50 over 100. You divide 50. Okay. You say 50 over 100 and just cross the zeros and express 5 over 10 to its lowest common terms. And here you get back your 1 over 2. Now let's say you want to convert from decimals to percentages. Say 0.25. Okay, 0.25. This is equal to 25 over 100. This is a fraction, isn't it? So when you have 25 over 100, just multiply this fraction by 100, and the hundreds will cancel each other here, and you only have a 25. So 0.25 is equivalent to 100%, or is equivalent to 25%. So this is how you convert 25 into 0.25 into percentages. You've got 25%. Okay, these are some of the examples. Okay, let's try 2.5. Change the following fractions and decimals to percentages. Okay, 2 over 5. What's 2 over 5 in percentages? We've got 2 over 5. What do? We multiply this by 100. And this is equivalent to 40%. Okay. How about 3.14? Okay. 3.14. This is equal to This is equal to 314 over 100. Okay, when you express this as a fraction, so 3 by 100, 300. Okay, this is equal to 314 over 100. Okay, how do you express this as a percentage? Multiply 314 314 over 100, multiply it by 100. Okay, so the hundreds are going to cancel. The hundreds are going to cancel, and you have got the 314. So 314 is going to be our answer. It will just be 314%. Okay, so this is technically our answer. What about converting from percentages to decimals and fractions? Convert 100% to a decimal or a fraction. 100% is already, okay, you just divide 100 divided by 100. What do you get again? You have 1. It's 1, a whole number. Okay, let's talk about 34% as a decimal or as a fraction. Okay, 34% is simply 34 over 100. Okay, as a fraction is 34 over 100, or like you leave it in its lowest common terms, which is like 17 over 50. Okay, yes, 17 over 50. This is as a fraction. How about as a decimal? As a decimal, it will be 0.34. Okay, 0.34. That is the expression as a decimal. Okay, thank you everyone for watching to my video. Join us again next time as we'll be talking about coordinates, the basic concepts about coordinates. Invite your friends so that they like our channel, they subscribe to our channel, and be able to catch more videos from mathematics various types. In schools take 1 or 2 weeks to teach you, but you only learn this in just 55 minutes. No two ways about it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell button so that every time I post a new video, you can be notified and be able to learn from me. Okay, if you have any question from past papers, from examination papers or end of term papers that you feel like you have struggled to deal with them, please contact me on these details, either on WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and send your questions to me so that we can actually deal with them here using our videos. Thank you very much, and